So which of the rules is easier to use, the sine law or the cosine law? Well, really the sine law is going to be the easier one to use, right? So the sine law. So when possible, we probably try to use the sine law. Now, there is an advantage of cosine law in that we don't ever have to worry about ambiguous case with the cosine law. Okay, but the sine law is typically easier to use. There's kind of less calculating involved. So we can summarize this where if we have one side, two angles given, so angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle, use sine law. If you have two sides and one angle given, and the angle is in between the two sides, or side, angle, side, use cosine law. If we have two sides and one angle given, but it's angle, then side, and side, this is our ambiguous case. So we use sine law, but we have to always consider the ambiguous case. Now, sometimes it might be a special case, but rarely. If you have an angle side case, you should kind of assume that we have to solve for the second triangle. And the third case here is just the three sides and no angles. That's cosine law. Okay, so that's side, side, side. So here we have angle, side, side. And since one angle, two sides, so it could be side, angle, side, but the angle is not in between these two sides because angle A is between side B and side C, not side A. So when I draw this in, my picture looks like this. So it's my 20 degrees, 7, and this is going to be 4 here. And because this is angle, side, side, I have possibility of two triangles. Okay, and clearly this one probably is going to be two triangles, so I need to solve for both. Okay, so I'm going to draw both triangles here, so I'm just going to draw them separately so that we can see them a little bit easier. So 7, 4, there's my 20 degrees, 7, and my 4 can be oriented that way. Okay, so I'm going to label these sides and angles. Okay, so this is going to be angle A, this is going to be angle B, and this is going to be angle C. A, B, C. Okay, so setting this up, I'm going to solve for side or angle B. Okay, so I'm going to use my sine law. So using sine law, I'm going to go sine B over side 7, and the known angle side pairing is 20 degrees and 4. Okay, so there's my angle and opposite side pairing. Okay, so I can set up a known ratio and I can compare everything else to that known ratio. Solving for angle, so sine B. Okay, need my calculator again. So using my calculator, I'm going to do 7 times sine of 20 degrees divided by 4. I'm going to get 0.5985, so I'm going to round that to 599. I need to undo this sign. I'm not going to sign that ratio. I never signed the ratio. The only thing I can do a ratio is arc sine the ratio. Okay, so I'm going to arc sine that. And for angle B, I end up with 36.77 degrees. And clearly that looks about right, 36.77 degrees. Okay, so this angle B is related though. Okay, I'm going to call this B2. So this is B1. That's going to be B1, A1, C1, A2, C2. Actually, A2, we don't have to worry about that because A is the same. So B2, when I solve for B2, so I'm going to have to do that over here. So angle B2 is going to be the complement. So I'm going to do 180 minus that angle, which is 143.23 degrees. Okay, and from that I can deduce angle C2. Okay, C2 subtracting from 180. Okay. I get C2 is 16.77 degrees. Okay, so here's C1. Okay, so make sure I box those in. I just have my third side to solve for here. C1, so 180 minus 20 minus 36.77. That's going to be 93.23 degrees. Okay, so that angle up here is 93.23 degrees. This C2 angle was 16.77 degrees. Okay, so the last thing that I need to solve for then is side C. Okay, so side C1 I'm going to call that, and this is going to be side C2. Okay, so C2 over sine of 16.77 degrees is equal to my known sine ratio of 4 over sine 20. Okay, so 4 times is cross multiply there, 16.77, the sine of that, divided by sine 20. Okay, so C2 works out to be 3.37 as my length. Okay, so this is about 3.37. Okay, C1 over here, C1 is a length. If I solve for this, setting up my ratio, C1 over sine of 93.23 is equal to 4 over sine 20. Okay, so C1, when I solve for this, when I cross multiply that, I get a value of 11.68. Okay, so there's my C1 value, 11.68, and that looks about right given the pictures that I've drawn here. Not that my pictures are all that accurate, but they're not too far off, and they do give me consistent results. Okay, they are relatively consistent here. Okay, so these are some different ways to use those sine and cosine laws. So what's new is this cosine law, but also now we have to determine, so I'm just going to back up a little, we need to determine when is it appropriate to use sine law. Generally speaking, we should try to use sine law, and if we can't find a side opposite angle pairing, really we just stuck with cosine law. It must be either this case here, side angle side, or side side side. Okay?